Welcome to 52 Miniatures. My name is Alex, and welcome to my new space. This is right now just an empty room, but I'm just about to start transforming this place into my new YouTube studio. I do arts and crafts, miniature painting, stuff like that. And I figured it might be fun for you to see how I set this place up, for the people that follow the channel, but also if you just want to see what goes on behind the scenes when trying to set up a YouTube channel. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Right now it's just a mess, but welcome to the story of building my new YouTube studio.
Let's see if we can turn this lovely room into a creator's dream. I'll share the transformation as well as share what I know and have learned about creating a space dedicated to crafting, filming videos and streaming. Ideas applicable to the big or small dream. It's an old office, as in over 100 years old. The original room has some great benefits: high ceilings, lovely floor and lots of windows. The downsides are the fact that it's just one room with no storage, with a lot of windows. There's a few things you often don't see in YouTube videos: the practicalities, the storage, editing computers, 2 weeks worth of old coffee cups, cable mismanagement, and windows. Large or small, neat or messy, what you almost always see is a set, a space created to exist in front of the camera. Or at least it probably should be, because creating a space like a film set can enhance and enforce the identity of what you want to share with the world. So I need to create myself a set, but also solve the storage and discarded coffee cup equation. My set is of course based around my painting desk and painting station. Out of necessity, I need a place to paint my paints and tools at hand. It's the main focus of most videos as well as the streaming. My editing computer, tripods and extension cords are as important, but hold no storytelling value in regards to my content, and so they need to be hidden away. So I've decided to divide the room in two. One side storage and editing setup, the other side my set. The idea of having a space that is always ready to film in with the possibilities to hide all the mess behind a wall is a great idea. The space I film in is also my creative space, and being able to have that cleared of mess is kind of important too. The walls will be made as light as possible and not permanent, not going all the way to the ceiling to keep a sense of space and airiness, just like a film set. We just need to make sure the walls are tall enough to end out of screen. In this case, about 2.5 meters will be enough. Helping me out is my handy dad, my son, and my friend Oscar. We're using plywood sheets on a wooden frame. The idea is to attach both of these walls to storage shelving units to keep them upright. I don't want to do any permanent alterations to this lovely old room, and this also means that if I really want to change things in the future, I can actually just push and move the walls. One wall will be slightly larger, about 2.70 meters long, a freestanding wall with space on all sides acting as a clean backdrop. The other wall, slightly smaller at 1.8 meters, will be integrated as part of the desk and placed snug up against the real wall, making a corner. Creating a cozy room type vibe, I'll plaster the walls to hide the wood grain of the plywood sheets. The wall sizes and placement is based on practicalities and visuals. The opening in between the walls, for example, needs to be big enough to allow for furniture, big crafting pieces, and moving gear and tripods in and out. The wall's individual size and placement, they don't actually line up. It is based on hiding as much of the space behind the walls while leaving enough space behind the walls for behind-the-scenes stuff. There's also a consideration of what feels good when you're in the room and what looks good in camera. Setting a camera up while sketching things out is a great idea. The desk is based on a wood top I had in my old studio and 2 Alex units from IKEA. Sheets of MDF board will cover the front as well as make a sort of shelf facing out towards the room. To have the main workbench, so to speak, placed to facilitate as many camera angles as possible is pretty good. Regardless of type of creator, if you're crafting, if it's arts, mechanics, engineering, cooking, to be able to film from all sides of a workbench is pretty neat. Setting the desk with the long side up towards a wall will limit how you can film. And to make the most out of this, I want to create a visibly interesting desk with the shelves in front and on the sides. This is storage, but also just props, if you like. The Alex storage within the desk will hold tools and paints and brushes, air compressor, and stuff like that. My girlfriend helped paint the desk in a chalky dark grey paint. Most things here is going to be grey. My theme is a bit Iron Curtain-esque, to be honest. It's just my vibe. Grey might not be everyone's choice, but there's a few things to consider when choosing thematic colours. White is difficult to have as a background when setting lights. It can appear harshly lit and reflects all the surrounding colours. A coloured surface reflects its colour onto other things. If you sit next to a red wall with lamps pointing your way, well, you'll look red in the face. In layman's terms, an example of this is if you take a photograph of someone on a grass lawn on a sunny day. All areas facing down, if you look carefully, like under the nose, will be tinted green in the picture. As I feature painting and arts on the channel, well, I don't want the things I'm working on to be tinted by the wall's colours, and not my face either. Yet black sucks up too much light, and hence we're left with grey. Also, as I will most likely photograph things and people in this space, a grey wall will be much more useful as a backdrop than a red, yellow, or green wall. Again, grey is also just my theme, together with the old wooden furniture to come. I'll most likely expand on this, possibly even going slightly into rust territory. Having an identity sort of worked out is a good idea. Are you the altering hue LED strip gamer or the cozy fireplace storyteller? When deciding on paint, it's a great idea to go for the very matte paint to avoid light reflections. Very matte paint is quite sensitive, and it's not excessively used in homes apart from the very design aware, because of the delicate surface and the difficulty to wipe clean. So finding actual matte paint usually means having to buy specific brands, offer designer-aware brands rather than cheap hardware matte standard, because usually that's not matte enough. But in a situation like this, it's worth it. The lamps you might be using when filming create an annoying reflection on the wall if the wall is slightly satin. A matte wall will look so much better. There's actually scales like a number from 1 to 10 or something when determining the shine of paint. Studying that is well worth it. Another option is actually wallpaper. The fibers in the paper usually diffuse light reflections rather well. Now, after a proper clean, it's time to move in. I'd truly recommend to do any major building work before moving into a new space, to clean up all the construction dirt and dust before moving in, to get as much done before everything gets cluttered with boxes and furniture. But at some point, you reach the point of no return. A great thanks to Carl and Marco and Simon and my family for all the heavy lifting. That 6x4 foot gaming table was a treat to watch getting pushed up the stairs. With the space now filled with all the stuff from my previous location, it became paramount to get the place in working order. My most important feature is a setup that allows me to film and light my workstation from above, a suspended rig. None of this is strictly necessary. Different tripod solutions could do the same job, but I've challenged myself to create a space that doesn't really look like it's got cameras and tripods in it, and I want to hide my setup out of frame as much as possible. These steel pipes are kind of like an ornamental plumbing system or something. I bought them in a hardware store, different lengths of pipe with different ways of attaching them together. I sprayed whatever pipes are going to be visible with a grey. Rattle cans are a great friend when dealing with set furnishings, honestly. Now there's 2 options to attach everything to the ceiling or to the desk. Attaching to the desk means vibrations can travel from the desk up to the camera, but the desk I've built is so sturdy that I don't think it will be a major problem. And I kind of like the look of the pipes set in the desk. I might even be able to work on that theme moving forward. Also, for some reason, I dislike cluttering the ceiling. It's not something the viewer will see much, but I will every day, and I just don't like that look. There was a problem, however. Despite careful planning and measurements, I'd gotten the measurements wrong. My desk was too short, or the pipes too long. These kind of things are bound to happen, and I think when and if they do, it's important to remember that you're working on a set, not on your home. even if you're in your home. Just fix the problem and move on. You might just have spent a lot of time and money on building walls, but if you need to make holes in those walls, then just go for it. So I drilled holes in the walls to be able to fasten the pipes on the other side, winning a few extra centimeters. I then extended one side of the desk using a piece of wood that originally was part of the underside of the construction of the desk. Problem solved. And now it's time to start setting up shelves for paint and such. This is as much set decor as it is necessity. Like a workshop would have tools, or in a kitchen you'd had spice racks and utensils. Yet you're showing it all off in a sort of suitable way because it's TV. My tip here is to set things up in accordance to what it looks good in the camera. Find some angles you probably will film from and place things in regards to that equation. You'll find that you most likely will take different choices in placement and end up with a better looking set when filming if you look through the camera instead of just your regular eyes. Again, this is a set, not your home. Included in the mindset of having a set is set lighting. Most creators set theirs once and then they stay set. You just want to turn the lights on and everything should just look like yesterday or last year. Because of this, windows with changing daylight are often considered a curse. As I know my way around setting lights, I instead consider my windows a blessing. I've essentially, at my hand, now got several options of light and thus can create different moods with little or no gear involved. I do, however, need options to tame the light. The set side of the room, if you will, gets diffusion plastic covering the insides of the windows. This does two things. The outside world is blocked, creating a timeless feel, and the daylight itself is softened because of the diffusion. But I need more options. To block out most light, all windows get blackout blinds or curtains for whenever there is direct sunlight in need of blocking, or when I just want to rely solely on lamps. I'll never be able to completely block out all the outside light without major work, but that's not going to be necessary. I opted for the cheapest IKEA option. I also want a more transparent option for when I just want to filter out some daylight, but that also could serve to hide the rather ugly blackout blinds underneath for when this stuff is in frame. So this is more like set dressing, hiding the practicalities. I can also set lamps behind the white cloth option and create a bit of a glowy window style if I want, as if there was a neon street sign or something outside the window. I'll demonstrate a few looks by the end of the video. There's just one last thing to fix. Above the desk is now an array of cables and stuff, lamps, cameras, as well as cables running down the desk. Not only for the monitor that shows a feed of what the camera can see, I've also drilled a really ugly hole into the desk so the cables can go through to my streaming deck in there. So that when I stream, I can control my cameras from there, but when not streaming, it all hides away. Great stuff. But I hate how things look above the desk. Even just for me, seeing all that stuff when in the room kind of makes me feel uninspired. I decide to cover it with a sheet of plywood for now. Again, my friend Oscar to the rescue. Maybe a more fancy solution could be made in the future with some shelves or something. I could have books up there maybe, who knows. For now, this solution gives me a bit more peace of mind. And I can now film from most angles in the room and not have to be reminding people excessively about the lamps and the cables, instead have them concentrate on the art and the crafting. I'm now kind of ready to start working in this space. It looks great. There's lots of things to keep working on. I want more storage. I want to build something to cover the radiators. I want to hide my monitors on the desk. I want to get things up on the walls, like make it look a bit more like home. Behind the scenes, I still need to find a suitable solution for my 3D printers. I have a 6x4 foot gaming table that maybe should be suspended from the ceiling. Even more shelves, even more storage needs to go up. You can never have enough storage. Also, we haven't had time to talk about sound yet. I have a ventilation noise to look at, as well as some dampering might be needed. And then there's the tech stuff, cameras and lights. If you're interested, let me know. We could get a second video going with all that stuff, maybe more of a workflow type video or something. For now, I've built a medium-sized room into something that on one side is an office and storage, and on the other side is something that looks okay on camera, yet is still in essence a practical workshop. Key for me is that it also should be something I'm comfortable in. I've learned that from my last space. Size and style is important. Mine's grey and minimalist looking. You might cover your walls with pink fur. But for longevity and peace of mind, I'd personally recommend giving some thought to that concept, and cool look is one thing, but having a space you like to spend most of your time in, that you feel comfortable in, is equally important. I'd also like to note that none of this is necessary. You'll find far more successful YouTubers than me working out of a shoebox, and you'll find institutions with massive YouTube budgets creating surprisingly unsuccessful content. There's no wrong or right, but if you're planning to create some kind of space like I have, then I hope there's been some information, even just the smallest tip in this video, that'll help. If you want to see my setup live, then just find me on Twitch for regular live streams. For video content from this new space, subscribe and keep watching videos to come. I'm looking forward to getting back to what I want to do, which is painting minis and crafting. A great thank you as always to my dear patrons, and thank you for watching. Bye.